So the return of 5 questions for Southside Wrestling Entertainment. I'm joined by Mr. Chris Sabin. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. First member of the new look 5 questions, which is great for me. I don't know if it's great for you or not, but first and foremost, what's your opinion of being here in Southside Wrestling?
I really like Southside. I would probably consider Southside my home promotion here in England. I enjoy coming over here. They always have good shows, always treat me really well. It's just, I can tell it's a big family around here, and I enjoy that. So, I'm looking forward to coming back again.
Excellent, thank you. You've been over in Britain before, International Showdown 2005. You had the 4-way with Johnny Storm, Rockstar Spud, and Petey Williams. You got any memories of your time 10 years ago in Britain?
A little bit. I remember specifically about that show. I remember enjoying the match and thinking like, wow, British crowds are really good. They're like really into matches and stuff. That show specifically, I remember watching CM Punk and Samoa Joe have a really good match, and I think Kento Kobashi was there, wasn't he? I remember meeting Kento Kobashi for the first time, which is really cool for me. So those are the main memories I have. Yeah.
Wonderful. Do you notice a difference in Brit Wrestling in 2015, 10 years later? Now you're back over. Do you see a difference in crowds or difference in, anything?
I think the biggest difference I see is just how much talent. Like the wrestlers over here have gotten so much better. I mean, especially in the last 5-10 years. And someone specifically that I was talking about, and I gave him a compliment last night, Mark Haskins. He did the TNA wrestling tour in 2011, and I worked with him that entire tour. And then, I watched him last time I was on Southside. I watched his match last night. And man, he's just gotten 100 times better. And I think just overall the talent in Britain has just gotten 100 times better. And I think, it's like you see it's such a smaller group as opposed to the U.S. Everything's so spread out. But when it's such a smaller compact area of wrestlers, if that talent starts to rub off on each other, you know what I mean? If someone's good, they're gonna elevate someone to their level. Then that kind of energy is just gonna spread, man. I think it just has. And wrestling over here is amazing, man.
It is getting better. I think with the rise of shows like British Boot Camp and the fact the internet's made the world smaller, there's more eyes on British wrestling. Which leads me into my next question. Do you think that's indicative of world wrestling as a whole? Do you think the independent scene's just getting better?
Yeah, I personally think that wrestling there's the very beginning of a new age, a new golden age of wrestling. Absolutely, without a doubt. If you see the style of wrestling, especially the popular, it's gotten a lot smaller, a lot more athletic style, and I think that kind of style of wrestling it has a broader spectrum of an audience. I think you can put more people that might have not been a wrestling fan, back in 2000 or something like that. After the boom period was over, obviously, but 2000, 2010 or something. Someone that a wrestling fan, that person who was a casual fan might not give it a chance. Might actually give it a chance now because they'll see, the style has just changed so much. It's, it's harder hitting, it's more athletic, and the talent is better. So I think that it's just the very beginning of a new golden age of wrestling, and that I think we're going to ride this momentum to a new boom period.
I would agree. Do you think the internet has played a part in that, with the fact that it's more accessible to a wider audience? So those fans that were fans in the boom period, now 10 years later, oh yeah, I remember that, and they've had a quick look, which in turn leads to why cruiserweight wrestling and the smaller style and the athletic style of wrestling is more popular, because it's very instantly accessible, instantly recognised, instantly grabs you and makes you watch it. Would you agree with that? Or
Yeah. I mean, fans get a more worldly view of wrestling because now you can go on the internet and you can watch New Japan. You can watch Lucha British wrestling, or you Lucha Underground. You watch wrestling from Mexico, and you can watch anything. What was the question again?
Sorry, it was a long quote. Basically, whether the internet has opened people's mind to wrestling, and which is why cruiserweights are more popular because they'll catch your attention quicker than, say, a heavyweight.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that it's not for every cruiserweight. Automatically, cruiserweight's going to catch your attention.
Of course,
if you see a special heavyweight, let's say Kazuchika Okada, Brock Lesnar, obviously a big guy that will captivate you just by that. But I think the internet has been a good thing. I think at first it was a bad thing because it was kind of it gave wrestling fans access to the other side of the curtain. You know what I mean? So at first it kind of hurt, but I think that overall people started to get the idea of wrestling, and figure out what it was, and then appreciate wrestling for what it really is.
And the athleticism, like you mentioned.
The athleticism, the showmanship, all about it. It's a show, it's entertainment, and I think people realize that now, and they can suspend their disbelief. It's like you're watching a movie, you don't sit there and pick apart a movie and say, oh, that wasn't real. real. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
It's
yeah,
the exact
you can
same
go home,
thing.
enjoy it, and
Yeah.
you've been entertained.
Yeah, and I think with cruiserweight wrestlers, just because they can do such awe-inspiring things like
Yes.
the flips and the maneuvers that they do are just so amazing to see that it's, you know, you can suspend people's disbelief a lot easier doing that. So I think that, you know, the internet heard it at first, but now it's completely the opposite. Now I think the internet is helping.
Yeah, exactly. The final question then, a young man that you're tagging with here in Southside Wrestling, people saying he's got a bright future, Mr. Will Ospreay. What's your opinion on the young man?
He's one of my favorite wrestlers here, man. I really enjoy tagging with him. He's a good guy, and he's an amazing wrestler. I mean, he can do things that are just unbelievable in the ring, man. He just bust out a backflip. We were in the locker room yesterday, and I look over, and he just does a standing backflip. Lands on his feet. You know, it's absolutely amazing. And, yeah, he's a really good wrestler, and I enjoy working with him, too. I think we have a good chemistry as a tag team as well,
Definitely.
you know. And, you know, hey, what can I say? We're just two guys hanging out, you know. Yeah.
I think that's a perfect way to interview. Chris Sabin, thank you very much. Take care.